Noah is very determined and curious. He's strong-willed, and those characteristics play itself out every day.
We went in on Tuesday morning, and they ran a bunch of the tests to see what might be happening, and they ruled out strep throat, and they ruled out anything else that might have been causing the upset stomach and the fever, and they agreed that he should be seen over at the hospital. And he went through all of the tests to see whether it might be appendicitis or not. And they said really the only way to know for sure if it was appendicitis was to go in and take it out. They did that procedure. Surgery went well. And after the surgery, Noah actually really turned a good corner.
Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in.
About 12 hours after surgery, he took another turn, but this time for the worse. And the fever came back and started to notice a bunch of other symptoms too.
And on Friday morning, that's when they made the referral to Sanford Children's. He was taking on more fluids. His fever went up to 105.6. His breathing was, as his fever went up, his breathing would go up to in the 150s. He did have a couple rounds of platelets and blood transfusions, and the doctor at one point had talked about putting him in a medical coma.
What eventually we learned is he was diagnosed with an autoimmune syndrome called HLH. The longer name for it is hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis.
It was Dr. Chihak that made the official HLH diagnosis, and her process of informing us about this was phenomenal.
Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace.
So there was a lot of points along the way where, Terese and I would have to kind of look at each other and hold hands and say, all right, well, we need to just trust this to the doctors and trust it to God and hope that, Noah comes through this next step. And at one point, after we got through all of the intensive care and had been transferred out to the regular pediatric floor for recovery, Dr. Krabrinsky just had a really frank conversation with us and said about Dr. Chihak that, she probably saved his life, making that diagnosis early, because she identified it so quickly and confirmed what it was and started the steroids at the point where she did. That was a really important step in his recovery because you could see how quickly his body started to respond.
Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore. Say goodbye to where you've been and tell your heart to beat again.
I think I'd actually give them a hug. When you physically see somebody and express to them, you saved our child's life, your prompt action, astute observations, compassion, and care help save a life. Honestly, Noah's a miracle. There's 1 in 1.2 million children diagnosed with this condition. He definitely is a fighter. His strong personality, I believe, helped him go through those really intense times.
Tell your heart to beat again. Close your eyes and breathe it in. Let the shadows fall away. Step into the light of grace. Yesterday's a closing door. You don't live there anymore.
It would have been easy to imagine that we were the only family that they were treating. They were that focused on us. And yet, when we would get out in the hallway and walk around, the entire ward was full. And so to know that they're able to give that amount of dedication, care, compassion, concern, and make any family and patient who needs that level of care feel like, you're the one that we're here to serve. It goes beyond words, but thank you.
So tell